Why is everyone provoking God? How dare you depict an image of a black woman standing on the head of a white man? That's you provoking God. This is controversial, but the initial one wasn't. When it is that, when it's the devil depicted as a black person, a black man or a black woman, and there is a white person trampling over that person, right? The statue, nobody is complaining. There's nothing wrong. The world continues to go round and round, right? But all of a sudden now, when you do the opposite, now there is a problem. As we have seen in the last few years now, the energy on the continent, and I would even say in the black community globally, has been drastically changing. We are starting to see a shift in the mindset and the consciousness in our people. More and more people deconstructing and decolonizing all of the BS that we were taught, unlearning and relearning, and I'm here for it. And it's been amazing to watch and such a lovely time to be alive, I would say, as an African person, as a black person, having to witness this ton of events, right? In light of that, I came by this video yesterday on TikTok that really encapsulates just how much things are shifting on the continent, and I could not wait to share this video with you guys because the tables are turning and they are turning fast.
My guys, I know you've seen sculptures and statues of similar one where the angel was stepping on the head of a black man. But currently, the current generation of the African youth, we are trying to tell you, we are changing the narrative. We are changing the narrative of where a white angel is stepping on the head of a black man. Check this one out. This is Konfuabna also stepping on the head of a white angel. A black woman stepping on the head of a white angel. We are changing the narrative. As the current generation of Africans, we are no more going to worship the white man. So therefore, check this statue out. Konfuabna stepping on the head of a white angel to change the narrative that blacks are devils or blacks are useless,
or black people are inferior, or black people are undeserving of respect, or black people are not beautiful or handsome. All of those narratives and the others that exist out there, we are changing every single freaking one of them. This generation we are so done with this nonsense. Seeing this image healed something in me yesterday. I saw this video just before bed yesterday, and when I tell you, I slept like I had not slept in a long time. The joy in my heart, not because of, oh, there's a black person trampling, or this image rather of a black woman or a black person trampling on the white man, or the image of a white man, but what it signifies that the black people, African people, are done with allowing this kind of rubbish to continue to be out there. We are no longer buying into this BS that there is something wrong with us, that whiteness is the superior one that we should be looking up to. It signifies that the African people are waking up. The chains of colonization and mental slavery that has, locked the brains of my people for years, hundreds of years now, are breaking, and I'm here for it. So this is not I want to see white people under my feet kind of thing, because I'm not interested in that kind of nonsense. It's what it signifies. That's what I'm interested in. Seeing this image really healed something in me, right? Especially being an ex-Christian, an ex-Catholic, growing up in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church have all of these images that whenever you go to church, you have to see them. I don't know, guys. Like, it's just... I said I was... Oh my goodness, this is so... Whoo! I don't want to cry and ruin my makeup. I'm going out. It's just... When you grow up and all you see pedestalized and promoted, both in the media, in the church, when you go to the church, the only thing held in high esteem is the opposite of you. And not only is it that the opposite of you is held in such high esteem, but also that you have to now deal with getting demonized, the image of you and your people. You have to watch this happen. And a lot of people like internalize these things, hence why we see a lot of self-hatred, right? In some of our people, the bleaching culture, the hair, and what is considered beautiful. It's like, so to now see present generation like actively working towards changing the narrative, it's so beautiful to see. And thinking about it, like, long term, what this means for the young boys and girls coming up. It means if we continue like this forward, we are eventually going to get to a point where we have a generation of people who, each and every single freaking one of these people, see themselves as the ish. A generation of people who don't have to look outside of themselves for the things that they need.
So we've changed the narrative according to this statue and paintings and sculpture. Komfuabna, the black Komfu woman, stepping on the head of a white angel.
And then when you factor this in with, the shift we're seeing on the continent, with countries kicking the colonizers out, like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. I haven't heard recently, there was this rumor of a coup that happened in Ivory Coast, but come to find out that never really happened. I don't know who started that rumor, but it was a thing. But I saw a brother made this video extensively breaking down, what happened. And he said this.
Now, here is the truth they don't want you to understand. Whether or not there was a military coup on May 21st, there have definitely been a mental coup across Africa. The real coup isn't happening in presidential palaces. It's happening in the minds of African people across the world. From the universities of Accra to the markets in Lagos, from the diasporan communities in London to the tech hubs in Nairobi, Africans are staging a coup against mental colonization. Whether you're watching this from Abidjan or from Atlanta, from Dakar or Detroit, you are part of this moment. The question isn't whether change is coming to Africa. Change is already here. The question is, are you going to be part of the solution or part of the problem? So here is what I want you to do. Share this video, and more importantly, share this perspective. Because every time an African person anywhere in the world understands that our resources, our leadership, and our future don't have to be dictated by foreign powers, the movement grows even stronger. The coup they don't want you to see isn't just happening in Ivory Coast. It is happening everywhere. It's happening wherever Africans are waking up to their own power. And once we are fully awake, there is no force on earth that will put us back to sleep. This is the strategic lens. The revolution won't be televised, but it will be understood.
Like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, that was so perfectly put. A coup really is happening in the minds of African people all across the continent. Just because we are not seeing it 100% yet, like we can see it in, say, Burkina Faso or Mali, doesn't change the fact that it is happening. It's just a matter of time that is going to take, a little while that is going to take for it to like take flesh, for it to come to realization, for us to like physically see it. But the fact that we cannot see it right now don't mean it's not there, right? It's happening up here in African people. And that's another thing that this image signifies to me, right? It signifies what is really going on in the minds of African people. How are we thinking right now? A lot of African people right now are like, F the West and their ideologies big time. F the West and how they think big time, right? And it's just so like, crazy to be watching this right now. I'm super excited. There are even pastors who are speaking about how the minds of African people are changing. Some of them are even complaining, talking about how, young Africans are no longer coming to church because they're like, F the colonizers, God, and their religion. And some of the pastors, they are like scared of the shift. And it's crazy to me because, like,
we were in Owerri. A lot of our people in Owerri said in Igbo land right now, there is a movement of young people to abandon Christianity and go back to traditional worship.
Preach, Pastor
The
Abel.
movement is strong. A lot of young people are leaving church to go back to shrine, to go back to idol worship, that because they don't understand this white man Jesus. They don't understand this white people Bible. They don't understand it. But at least they know that the idols in their village took care of their ancestors. They took care of their great-grandfathers. They took care of their fathers. They want to all go back to African worship where their ancestors were. I also heard that it's not just in Igbo land alone. Somebody called me in UK, one of my daughters in the faith. She said, Papa, we have a crisis all over Africa and all over the world. African young people have come up with a movement that is building momentum to abandon the Bible of the white man and go back to African roots. I'm shouting. People say I'm shouting.
Shout,
The kind
Pastor
of
Abel.
Jesus that is preached in many churches cannot be explained from the Bible. And a lot of young
Absolutely.
people have very intelligent questions that pastors are not answering.
Preach.
It makes the Bible look like a concoction of some people for their advantage.
the puppets of the colonizers come in different shapes and forms. When we talk about puppets, for the most part, we only focus on our leaders, right? Leaders, people in governmental positions, all of these people who are just in those positions of powers, basically doing the colonizers' bidding. But I feel like we need to start looking beyond that, because for those of us who would be honest with ourselves, would say the truth, which is the church is actually part of the colonizers too. And these pastors are helping them do their bidding. And I think the same thing is happening in America as well, because a little while ago, was it last year? I can't remember exactly, but I came by this video on TikTok. I believe it was from a news network. And this man was talking about, the broadcaster, how a lot of African American women are leaving the church. And I actually stitched that video back then, and this was what I had to say.
Growing numbers of African American women in Maryland and across the nation are leaving traditional church worship. All of them are in search of something else, a spiritual belief that connects them to their ancestors and where they can feel more empowered to control their own well-being. They have found it in ancient forms of spiritual contact. Some call it witchcraft, a term they accept and embrace.
And that's exactly the kind of news I want to be hearing on this internet streets. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I went into the comment section to go see what people are saying in there, and the comment section as well blew me off. This brother said, "It not go better for who bring that name Jesus come our land." Translating, he's saying that it won't be well for the person that brought Jesus to Africa. It's just a lot of people like that in the comment section. This person said, "Power to all black people and love you, brother, for your hard work." This person said, "You can change the narrative without making it look like stepping on an angel." And someone responded to them saying, "We are not here to negotiate." Thank you very much, Mithamo. We are not here to negotiate. Because there's going to be some of these our people who always want to tiptoe around what we need to do. They want to play these what ifs and play semantics. No. When it comes to African issues, black issues, when it comes to what needs to be done, it's going to have to be done. This person said, "We should also change our attitude towards education, which will help us from slavery. We need physical education and practical learning, no more theories." Thank you very much. Spot on. Someone responded to them saying, "Well said. If this can be implemented, we will become producers instead of memorizers. African school curriculum must be changed to reflect our culture and encourage manufacturing and producing." Unsurprisingly, I saw a comment from a white person that says color should never matter. I knew I was going to find a comment like this. I don't know why whenever we have these conversations, they come into the comment section and be telling us that color should never matter. Like, we're the ones who made it matter. Like, you get what I mean? It's always crazy to me. Of course, now we should talk about how color doesn't matter, right? But when it was the other way around, they seem to be cool with it. If color really don't matter, then why are you talking about it? You are talking about how it don't matter because it matters to you. And then they went on and they said the difference between the rich and the poor is where we should focus. They are turning us against one another. And then someone responded back to them saying, a sister, shout out to Faye Parr. She said, color matters because color is what was used against us. Thank you. Until all humans recognize that the black woman is the creator of all, until then, color matters. This comment's amazing when I saw it. This person said, what I see is a female African woman defending herself against her biggest enemy. This comment puts it, in my humble opinion, the right perspective. Because really, let's talk about it, right? And I want us to address this from a historical standpoint. Because a lot of people are going to see this image and feel triggered. This can be controversial, right? But which is weird. And quite frankly tells you exactly the kind of world that we live in. That this is controversial. But the initial one wasn't. The initial one is a status quo. It's accepted. It's okay. When it's a white person trampling over the head of a black person. Right? I mean, they call that the devil. They call it the devil, right? But we know really what's going on here. When it is that, when it's the devil depicted as a black person, or a black man, or a black woman, and there is a white person trampling over that person, right? The statue, nobody is complaining. There's nothing wrong. The world continues to go round and round, right? But all of a sudden now, when you do the opposite, now there is a problem. Now it's controversial. It really tells you the kind of world that we live in. We live in such a racist world that racism has been normalized, standardized, upheld, in such a way that now you can't even say, you know what? Now I want to step on the head of the racist. When you do that, now all of a sudden you are being a racist, or you are perpetuating hate, or you are discriminating. Then you now start hearing people say things like, oh, you cannot correct one wrong with a wrong. No. That's not what's going on here. That's you saying, you know what? I am tired of having this person step on my neck. I want to step on their neck back, see how they like it. And earlier, I made mention of history because it was during colonization that this madness started. Right? It was during colonization that they introduced this madness to us, introduced this concept of the white man being God and angels and Jesus and all things positive and holy as regards to the bodies in heaven, and the black man, being represented like the devil. See why this is a problem? Because see this person comment, this is from a lady, she said, you people don't have respect for God. God will create una na wa for una. She is saying that the God that created us, right? That we don't have respect for him. That there is something wrong with us, basically, with a side eye emoji. This is why this depiction is terrible. Because this person has internalized the standard of the white man over a black man in the form of, oh, that's an angel. It's not an angel. That's a ploy, a game that they play to make you feel like it's not really what they are doing that they are doing. It's what they are doing that they are doing, but you just try to put it into, like, tie it to God somehow, make it seem like it's not what it is. We that see through this BS, we know exactly what this is, right? But people who are not there yet, right, up here, they are not there yet, they don't. And they slowly buy into it. So now when they see the flip like this, it's like, oh my goodness, this is blasphemy. Because she has internalized, whether she's aware of it or not, white supremacy. Hence why her seeing the image of a black woman trampling the head of a white person, it's like, oh my goodness, they're stepping on the head of God. I've said this countless times, that when the God that you worship don't look like you, it's a problem. It is. This is how white worship starts. It's images like this that bet this white worshipping mentality practice that we see in some of our people, where they see these people like gods. They fear them, they revere them, they like, in their eyes, they cannot do any wrong. It's because of this thing that has been put in their head from like age 0, small, that they indoctrinate them, they come small. And then you get to this point as an adult where subconsciously, you are not consciously aware of it, but in your subconscious, you see them people as gods because they have been depicted as gods. So you growing up. So when you see the opposite of that, cognitive dissonance would deactivate critical thinking. You cannot see what's happening because in your mind, blasphemy, oh my God, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. This is an image of God. Even though it really isn't. That's an angel. But in this person said, white? No, God. This person said, this is hate teaching. This is another thing, right? When it was the opposite, it wasn't hate teaching. When it was the opposite, the first one that they brought wasn't hate teaching. This is how you know that, like, this thing, it does something to the mind of people. It really does. People don't understand. That's why I'm so passionate about this, especially on my TikTok. I talk more about religious stuff on my TikTok. Maybe I should start reposting some of my videos on here as well. This same white person from earlier, this is what he said. Why is everyone provoking God? Was it not the same person earlier that was saying how, oh, it doesn't matter what the color is, or be whatnot? Now he's on here talking about why is everybody provoking God? Because he loved the status quo. He cannot see, they cannot stand it. They would not be able to accept for the status quo to change, for we to not be looking up at them or seeing them as gods or angels. They know what these images do. Hence why whenever people are speaking up against it, hence why people are saying, no, we need to take a step back and reevaluate what's going on here. We cannot continue this to go on. This is damaging the mind of people. They get triggered. They get triggered because in as much as they would love to pretend like they don't know what's going on, in as much as they would love to pretend like this is not what it is, this is not them, signaling to people that they are superior and we are inferior. This is not them saying that, oh, you can't trample on the head of a black person. In as much as they know all of this, they will pretend like they don't. But eventually, give them time to talk. You are going to find out because they are going to tell on themselves. Because this person said, why is everybody provoking God? How dare you depict an image of a black woman standing on the head of a white man? That's you provoking God. Oh my goodness. Flip the switch and all of a sudden you start to see how they really think. People in the comments are asking him, who is provoking who? Thank you, because for real, they have been provoking us if we want to keep it 100. Lucky said, which god? This statue shows a black female warrior defeating a demon with her bare hands. And I was going to say something about history earlier, right? Playing into this comment from this person that said that it's an image of a black woman fighting her enemy. When you put the historical context of colonization and slavery into perspective, when you factor that in and you look at this image, right? You think about how they came on the continents, painted themselves to be the good guys, even though we know they were the opposite of that, right? Why this is important. Some people might say, oh, Ivie, you're probably reading more meaning into this than whoever made the sculpture, which, by the way, I try to look for who made the sculpture so I can see more of their work and just know more about them and what they're about, right? I mean, obviously, to a large extent, we can't tell what they're about. But, to also maybe give them a shout out, see what more that they are doing and just to get a lot more info for those that might be curious about them. But unfortunately, I could not find who made the sculpture. I don't know if it's the guy in the video that made it, but I will try and see if I can find any more information later on. I'll share with you guys maybe in a community post. Going back to history and why I think this is important, the statue being depicted the way it is, why I think it's important that it is the statue of a white angel, right? Because when you put history into perspective and what went down during colonization and slavery and how these people at first came like, good guys, right? It speaks to the lies being crushed, the lies of they were angels, they were good. They came to save us. They came to civilize us. They came to help us. They came for our betterment. This statue made the way it is. It speaks to our ability to be able to now, as a people, see right through their BS, overcome the chains that they have over us, this deception, this facade that they have been navigating with, that we were not able to see through before, but eventually now we can. And we're like, yeah, F this. This is crazy. I see right through your disguise. I see right through this, goodness and pureness that you are trying to deceive me with. I see right through your lies, and I'm crushing over that. Yes, I can still see you on the floor trying to pretend like you are good and that I should listen to you and that you are for my good, you want what's best for me. But F that. It's too late. I'm not falling for it anymore. That's what this image represents to me. Hence why I love that, the angel is still in like his angel goods form. It speaks to, if this person really is an angel, why is she stepping over him? Maybe he really isn't.
And that is why Africans are presently kicking the colonizers out, because they are no angel, they are no savior. This sculpture speaks to the total liberation and freedom of the African people, not just physical freedom, but also mental freedom. That's how I see it, that's how I interpret it, and I'm here for it. But I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. Let's continue this conversation there. Thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, I'll be catching you in the next one.